Hello everyone, in this video we'll look at the primary instruments, control surfaces and lights on an aircraft. Let's start with the instruments. This is the airspeed indicator. It measures the speed of the air moving over and under the wing. This is the white arc. It shows the range of speed at which we can safely fly with flaps extended beyond neutral. This is the green arc. It shows the safe range that we can fly the aircraft during all phases of flight. The yellow arc and beyond shows speeds which begin to exceed the structural and stability limits of the aircraft. You should not fly at these speeds. The needle shows our current speed. This is our altitude indicator. It shows the aircraft's orientation. The white line separating the ground, or brown, from the sky, which is blue, represents the horizon. These smaller lines and numbers above and below show degrees of altitude. 20 and 10 degrees up and therefore 20 and 10 degrees down. These yellow lines represent our wings, and the yellow arrow represents our tail, which shows our orientation relative to the horizon. As I roll the aircraft right, you can see our aircraft is oriented relative to that horizon. Our altimeter shows the height based on air pressure. The long hand shows hundreds of feet, the short hand shows thousands of feet, and the slim hand shows tens of thousands of feet, similar to a clock. If we read our altimeter, we can see that we are climbing to 3,900 feet. Next is our turn coordinator. It allows us to make perfect 2-minute turns and ensures that we don't make too steep or shallow turns. The aircraft symbol represents our plane. These two lines represent our horizon, similar to the altitude indicators. These two angled lines show where our wings should be in their respective banks. Additionally, this ball should always be in between these two lines. With these two done correctly, by using the proper aileron and rudder, we can execute proper 2-minute turns. As you can see, I have the wing lined up in the angled line and the ball as well in the box as I can, which can result in a 360-degree turn that will last 2 minutes. If I were to improperly use rudder or aileron, it will result in something like this and can result in an uneven turn. Next is our heading indicator, which is just like a compass, with north, south, east and west as our main cardinal points. The arrow pointing from the aircraft in the middle shows our current heading. As you can see, we are flying roughly south. Lastly, our vertical speed indicator. The vertical speed indicator shows us our rates of climb or descent. If the needle moves up like it is right now, the aircraft climbs, which is indicated in hundreds of feet per minute. So it will be positive 500, 1000, 1500 or 2000 or more if it went up, and negative 500, 1000, 1500 and 2000 if it went down. Some aircraft are equipped with digital flight decks, which have the same instruments just in a different layout. Our altimeter and vertical speed indicator on the right, airspeed indicator on the left, compass in the middle, and altitude indicator making up the background. They may not look the same in all aircraft, but they all have the same required instrument.
Now let's talk about the control surfaces of an aircraft. We have ailerons, which roll the aircraft left and right in the air along the longitudinal axis. The elevators, which pitch the aircraft up and down along the lateral axis. And the rudders, which yaws the aircraft left and right on a flat vertical axis. One other important surface is our flaps. They are high-lift devices that allow the aircraft to fly at lower speeds without stalling. Do you remember how we mentioned the white arc when we spoke about the airspeed indicator? Well, in order to extend your flaps, you must check your speed and ensure you're within the white arc before extending it, or else you risk damaging them.
Last but not least, let's look at the lights. The navigation light system consists of a red light on the right, green on the left, and white at the back. Pilots turn these lights on once they have power in the aircraft. These lights are used to help other pilots identify which direction a plane is flying. We'll get into detail on that in a later video on traffic management. The beacon lights are red flashing or rotating lights. They let other aircraft, vehicles, and ground personnel know that this aircraft is ready to move. Pilots turn these on when they are ready to start their engines or move position. They remain on throughout the flight and turn off once the engine is completely shut off and the plane is no longer moving. On some aircraft, like on the ATR family of aircraft, the beacon lights can be white. However, they serve the same purpose, but also aid the strobe lights. Speaking of the strobes, these lights are the main ones that help pilots pick out planes from stars or specks of dust on their windshield. These are flashing white lights which can flash once rapidly, once for a longer period, or twice, depending on the manufacturer. But they all serve the same purpose. Landing lights are high-intensity, forward-facing lights mounted on an aircraft. They are designed to illuminate the runway environment during takeoff and landing, as well as to make the aircraft more visible to others. Landing lights help pilots see the runway during landing, see the runway centerline threshold and touchdown zone during night operations, and identify obstacles or terrain during approaches. Landing lights also function as recognition lights, which work hand in hand with strobe lights. The FAA advises all pilots to use landing lights when operating below 10,000 feet, during takeoff and climb, during approach and landing, whenever within 10 nautical miles of an airport, whenever visibility is reduced, or whenever in high traffic areas. Some aircraft also have wing and logo lights to help identify ice formation, make it more visible to other pilots, and make airline brands more identifiable. The Trinidad and Tobago Civil Aviation Authority, or TTCAA, follows these regulations too. However, certain airlines may have different operating procedures, but they are all close to, if not already, exactly following the same regulations.
And that brings us to the end of this video. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with our latest videos. In the next video, we'll cover stalls and spins.